Now, Milo Yiannopoulos, this guy is awesome. He's an oddity because he's a conservative, but he's also a homosexual. He's a Jew. He's married to a black dude. But yeah, overall, man, this guy, I really respect Milo. You know what I'm saying? Because he gets a lot of criticism. A lot of traditional conservatives don't like him because he's very flamboyant. But besides the fact that he's a flaming faggot, you know what I'm saying? But he makes some excellent points, and I've read his book, Dangerous. It's a very good book, and I took a lot of notes out of the book. And mainly, he's just pretty much about free speech, anti-political correctness, speaking your mind, being yourself. Just go against the status quo. That's pretty much what he's about. You know what I'm saying? He's a very controversial figure, and a lot of people associate Milo Yiannopoulos with the alt-right, which is ridiculous because, first of all, the alt-right don't like Jews. He's a Jew. The alt-right don't like black people. He's married to a black guy. And plus, the alt-right, they're anti-homosexual. He's a homosexual. So he doesn't really fall into the category of somebody who's an alt-right or somebody who's a white supremacist and things of that nature. It's just something the media pushes on him because he's going against the status quo, so they try to demonize him by saying he's an alt-right, which clearly he isn't, and the alt-right doesn't like him neither. And I was just watching this video, which is very interesting. He's talking about the issue of racism, and in the question of is racism holding black men back? And he made a good observation, which he's 100% correct, of how black women, who are influenced by feminism, are keeping black boys down. It's rarely talked about in the media because it's against the narrative. You know what I'm saying? But just let's do what Milo has to say.
Born rich, stay rich. Black girls who are born poor have a better chance of becoming rich. Look at these two graphs, and this will illustrate the point for you a little more easily. Large income gaps persist between men of different ethnicities. What the study wants to do, and what the New York Times wants to do, in case you haven't picked up on this, is suggest that one of these groups is responsible for the plight of the other, rather than, I don't know, say the pressures of immigration pushing down wages, whatever. I don't think that is, by the way, responsible for what we're looking at, but it's worth just considering the data that they have selected, the limited set they've chosen to use. What this shows here is that black men consistently earn less than white men, regardless of whether they're raised rich or poor, but that doesn't hold for black women. Now, this presents a problem for people who have not read but think they understand Charles Murray's bell curve, because what the New York Times goes to great lengths to avoid discussing is IQ, and everybody online was like, but can't you just explain that because of innate differences in intelligence between the races? Were that true, you wouldn't see the difference you do between boys and girls, quite simply. This explodes, completely devastates the suggestion that it might be down to IQ differences, because if it were, you'd have to explain why black girls are overcoming those differences and boys are not. Well, actually, maybe let's get into that, but on the face of it, it looks like that can't be the explanation, because you'd have to explain why racism is operating on black men and not on black women, unless, of course, it isn't the racism that we think, it's not the discrimination we think, it is some other kind of societal factor as yet unidentified and not prominently identified by the New York Times. Now remember the headline of this story. The headline of this story said that racism was responsible for holding back black men. And it's my contention, and here I have to signal to you that we're shifting from this data to my supposition, to my speculation. Black boys suffer extraordinarily at the hands of black women. It is not the pressures of society buckling them because they didn't have male role models. At least, of course, it's partly that. But it is also the effect of black women on black men. The responsibility is also on a culture among black women of man-hating, of telling their own young boys, either explicitly or implicitly, that they're worthless, that they're just like their absent deadbeat dads, that they're no good. The way that they were taught that their masculinity was toxic, and the effect that that had on their ability to flourish and to achieve their goals, might be happening even in rich households, even in wealthy households, perhaps where the mother is earning a lot of money, dad's still not around. The overall societal effect of misandry, of man-hating, it is sort of like the worst expression of hateful feminism, if you like, is the hen culture among black mothers and black women in general. Constant fact of...
Oh yeah, Milo, yeah, he nailed it. Yeah, he nailed it right on the money, man. It's odd that somebody who's outside the black community has figured it out just by observation. You know what I'm saying? And us black men, we do this for like a long, long time. That the black community is pretty much a matriarchy, a degenerate matriarchy. That's pretty much the reason why black people are behind. It's not necessarily racism. I mean, there is racism, but it's not as bad as it was, I would say, like pre-civil rights era. There has been improvements. I mean, any black person can go to school, go to college, get a degree, get a decent job. It's not like the Klan is outside the college front door till you don't come in. I mean, if a black person applies themselves, goes, gets good grades, they can get to a college and graduate, get a decent job, and make a decent living. There's nothing hindering black people. But Milo, he made a good observation. It's more of a psychological, it's more about the upbringing of black men and how, like a lot of black women, they really deep down they really don't like black men. You know what I'm saying? It's part of that. I personally believe it's CIA government program and subliminal, but that's just my conspiracy theory. But I gotta hand it to Milo that he nailed it right on the money.